Hi guys, Dwight here,
And Rob Tech Piontek.
and we're here with Open the Fridge at New York Comic Con.
We had the opportunity to talk with the voice cast and game director of the upcoming Batman Arkham Origins.
And don't be afraid by our interesting fashion choice, but you will notice why I ordered us both later to change.
Hey Fridge fans, I'm here with the latest talent to lend his voice to the Clown Prince of Crime, Mr. Troy Baker. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, you, sir, are no stranger to the DC Universe, having lent your voice to Batman, to Two-Face, to Robin. You finally get to tackle the Joker.
Ugh, it is tackling indeed. That's a huge role to try to take down.
Now, you're filling some pretty big shoes.
Huge. I mean, first of all, if you want to go historically, you go Cesar Romero to Jack Nicholson to Mark Hamill. To even John DiMaggio, Kevin Michael Richardson, Heath Ledger. There's been an amazing cast of people that have slipped into those shoes, and I think the fear or the pitfall would be to try to do something, fancy with it. And I really think that all we want to do is just show you a different side of the Joker you've never seen before, show you a more unformed, raw version of the Joker, and obviously we want to point to where the Arkham franchise obviously is going to go with Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and make you feel like there's a through line with that character and that story. But I think the second we try to start, adding something onto it, makes it false. And I think we just want to peel back layers and show you something maybe you've never seen before.
Awesome. Now, did you take any inspiration from Mark's performance?
Oh yeah, clearly. And again, first of all, that's the framework that we're working within. So what a benefit that we have of and a bevy of work to be able to make you feel grounded. Like this is the same Joker that has resonated, for us for the last 25 years. You can feel it's the same person, and find the freedom within that too, to where we can show how we can be different. But yeah, I mean, Mark Hamill's my Joker. So when I was reading The Killing Joke, or when I was reading Arkham Asylum, that's the voice that I had in my head. So that's naturally going to come out anyway.
I think all of us can agree with that. Now, you keep coming back to the DC Universe, Lego Batman, Arkham City.
Right.
Is it just a preference? Is it just how the ball bounces?
It was how the ball bounces. I'm a comic book fan, first and foremost. And there's stories that I love in the DC Universe, stories I love in the Marvel Universe. Batman is my most revered. There's a holiness about it. There's this, it's a sanctuary of mythology that I love more than probably anything else. So I'm honored anytime I get to be any part of the Batman universe, and especially being a gamer and a fan, being a part of the Arkham universe is huge too.
Nice. Any character left that you want to voice?
God, Catwoman.
Okay.
Just to go for the hat trick.
Tell Grey Delisle to watch her back.
Just to see, but like an older version of Catwoman, like because she does such a great young virile Catwoman. Like maybe I'll be like senior citizen Catwoman.
So you want to be like the B. Arthur Catwoman, kind of bring it down to that.
That would be my inspiration. Would be more like just the Batman. Kitty wanna no, I'm not sexy anymore. Whatever.
You heard it here first. The next version of Catwoman.
Spoiler.
Could we get a little tease of the Joker?
A little tease?
Or is that still under wraps?
I want to wait until October 25th.
Okay.
I want you to hear that voice coming out of him and not out of me.
Okay, fair enough. Batman Arkham Origins, you heard it here, October 25th, cross-platform. Mr. Troy Baker, thank you very much.
My pleasure, Tech. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hello, folks. I am here with the latest man to don the cowl, so to speak.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Craig Smith, thank you
Hello.
for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, you've essentially been training for this, having run around 15th century Italy for so long.
Yeah, all that parkour, I knew right away this was my calling someday. No, I haven't been training for this at all. This is a huge honor. It's a blast.
You get to be Batman.
I know, right? Well, sort of. I get to be the voice of Batman.
Okay.
I am not the character.
That's true, but you are. It's voice actor.
Yes, true. Yes, of course. Yes. Which sounds so noble in its in that defined way. No, getting to be the voice of this character who is brought to life by so many talented people at Warner Brothers Montreal is unreal. And the fact that there's 150 people back at WB Montreal that are working on the game. And I get to be here and have you go like, you get to be Batman. It's like, no, I get to voice it, but there's a lot of passionate people that bring this character to life, and I'm just a very small element of that, but still very, very honored to have this chance.
Yes. Now you're filling some pretty big boots, as it were. I mean, you're following Kevin Conroy,
Yes.
who many fans of animation, games, and even people who read comics who hear that voice.
Yep.
The Arkham series follows through. Did you take any inspiration from his performance?
You know what? First off, I'm not filling any shoes. There's no way you can fill those shoes. That's 20 years of work, over 20 years of work as a character that everybody's come to know and love. And it's no different than when I was coming home from high school and watching the show. I mean, that's the version of Batman and Joker that we all kind of know. But to have an opportunity to explore a different Batman at a different time in his career, that was a huge opportunity for me. And going back, I knew right off the bat they weren't going to want us to do an impression of somebody else. And why would you want to hire me to come in and try to be Kevin Conroy? Just get Kevin to do it, kind of thing. But what we were exploring was a different version and a younger Batman, and so they went to go with I think just a different choice. That being said, I of course was very aware of Kevin's performance prior to this, but didn't want to go back and sit there and try to revisit it because I didn't know what they wanted to do with this version of the character. So it was important for me to kind of approach it with like, all right, what do you guys want? I've gone through the auditions, we booked the role, so now what? What do we want to do? And we worked a lot on the vocal print for the character a lot in those early sessions because it was trying to finesse something to where Troy has described it in the past, where it was like we knew we had a horizon, a point on the horizon that we needed to take these characters to that would be believable from previous versions that we've seen, but we still wanted to kind of explore maybe a less refined version of Batman, a less defined version of these characters. And so with that, you lean very heavily on your director and your creatives.
Wonderful. Well, we're really looking forward to the game.
Cool.
Remember, Arkham Origins comes out October 25th. Roger Craig Smith, the voice of Batman.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, given the huge success of the previous two Arkham games under the Rocksteady banner, the fans expect a certain amount of pedigree from the Arkham series. What can you tell us about what you're doing to make sure that you maintain that level of quality while still making it your own?
Well, I think we start by being the biggest fans of the games ourselves. We have some really analytical people on our team. We have very enthusiastic people who are very knowledgeable about Batman lore and also particularly the Arkham fiction. We've worked with many of the same talent for things like voice, for things like creative stuff with DC, like working with Jeff Johns over there, working with the same executive producer and production team, Ames Kirshen, over at W.E. Burbank. So I think, whilst we're not the same studio, I think that we're applying the same philosophy. We're working with a lot of the same collaborators, and I think that no one takes the franchise and the importance of the consistency with the franchise for that more seriously than we do. So I look forward to what people's reactions are going to be on October 25th. I hope they like it.
Now, what was the thought process for going back towards a prequel? The previous two games have been sequential. Why go back to this somewhat of a year one type scenario?
Well, early career stories they're a common thing in Batman lore, and the story, the comic book that really inspired me for it was the Legends of the Dark Knight series. When it originally came out in the late 80s, it followed on in the success following year one, year two, and placing these very important stories for Batman because they're ones which allow him to change, allow him to meet characters for the first time, allow him to tell new stories that are important for the lore without contradicting things which have happened, in the regular continuity books. So we looked at a lot of different story options when we were looking at the game, but doing something that's important for the character, seemed by far better than any of the other ideas that we had. And so we really jumped on that and committed to it.
Sure. Now, the thing that can really kind of make or break a Batman game is the rogues gallery that you use in it. We've seen Deathstroke in the trailers. Who else can you tell us will be in here that fans can look forward to?
Man, we have a fairly large cast. We have Black Mask, who's the big bad in the game. We have the Penguin, who's running another gang in the city. We have Anarchy, who has a bunch of freedom fighters running around the city trying to destroy the corporations and the government. We have many we have 8 of the greatest assassins of the DCU in the game. Deathstroke, we have Deadshot, we've revealed Copperhead, we've revealed Firefly. Bane is one of the assassins. I think that's as much as we've revealed so far. We have, James Gordon plays a huge role in our game. We have Lieutenant Brandon, who's the head of the SWAT team, and you're nodding because you recognize him from year one, right? We have a whole bunch of, early career characters in there, and they're even though some of the characters have been in the IP before, everyone has gone through this filter of being rewound back to where they first started out. So I think that, you've seen Gordon before in the other games, right? He's been there, but you haven't seen him like this. You haven't seen him when he's hunting the Batman. You haven't seen him when he's trying to bring him down, and you haven't seen him when he's on the out in the GCPD, because no one in the whole police department trusts him because he's the one clean cop. So I guess that's some of the characters in the game, but I think the philosophy stuff is, I guess, a bit more interesting, right? Like, how these guys are going to be different, and I think that's something that, again, going back to that prequel space, has got us really excited about it.
Great, thank you so much, Eric. No, we're looking forward to the game when it comes out in October.
October 25th.
On which platforms?
It comes out PS3, Xbox 360, Wii U, and PC.